the other is, of course, what can you do? How do you implement? Which comes to where you talk about all of the AI systems that you have. I mean, might be interesting to talk about that. What are the things you think they can implement, etc. Because there is a whole set of regulations that apply around that also.
Yeah, but that's maybe next podcast, right? Because one of the things, honestly, that when we talk to the insurance companies, and I go do workshops and teach also on how to use AI, and one of the things that we always end up talking about that they haven't thought of is the concept of guardrails and the concept of explainable AI.
Yeah.
Understanding that a large language model can never be explained. I mean, end of discussion. It's a probabilistic model, so you don't know what's coming out of it, right?
True.
And you cannot reproduce the so that's why you need to use, I guess you can call it, old school programming around it.
Yeah.
So just to give you an example, if you get a series of first notification of lost documents, right? You can use the large language model to read the police report. You can use it to read the other documents.
Exactly.
But you can't use it to put the fields into your compliant database.
True.
So you would need a deterministic model to actually validate that this is a name, this is a date, this is a policy number.
Yeah.
So you can explain, why did you put that policy number there? Because I got this data from here and put it there.
Yeah.
And this is the guardrails, because based on that, you can then do this, if this, then that, which is how you can run your processes.
But I think the good thing is that this could be the starting of having that clean data.
Yeah, true.
So the data subjects that you need in order for an underwriting is what you can start preparing. Yeah. And the market can at some point say proudly that we do have the data. Because right now, the biggest discussion or moot point with reinsurers is we are not sure we want to continue to write Middle East risk. And the simple reason is we don't have enough data.
Yeah. But that's the next thing that's coming. So that's one side of the reinsurance issues that I'm hearing, right? I'm also hearing that reinsurers would I think that was Dr. Aftab who actually said that. He said that reinsurers are also starting to require insurers to use tools, analytical tools, data cleaning tools,
yes,
in order just for them to be considered.
There's the entire requirement around what is it that you need to do, while it's a guiding principle from the Central Bank of UAE and it applies all across on use of AI, etc. It says very clearly the transparency is key, accountability. There are some very important ones there: accountability, transparency, and human supervision. So
they're also part of the new CBUAE law, right?
I'm talking about that.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So, and this applies
the AI guidelines.
No, the AI guidelines are from Central Bank of UAE.
Yeah, but so
for all LFIs. So it doesn't stop at insurance. Same thing applies to banks also.
Got it.
So the entire usage of AI, what is it that they need to do or not need to do? That is also set out. While it is a guiding principle, I think it's almost mandatory. So I think for somebody to read it and say, oh, it's a guiding principle, doesn't work.
When they knock on your door, then...
No, because we've had this discussion recently with one of the sort of central bank, let's say, subsidiaries, and they said that the instructions are very clear, that this is the minimum standard that you must follow. Anything below that is not acceptable, basically.
Wow. But that's good to know, right?
That's good to know.
It's almost mandatory to know that even though it says guiding principles, it's actually
exactly
how it should be, right?
And the good thing, I think the beauty of that, to give something which is a guiding principle and not mandatory, is the flexibility that it gives you. So what it does is it is not saying that you cannot process your claims on these LLM models or anything else. It's not saying do not use it, or do not use this, do not put customer data on it. It's not telling that to you. It's just saying that, okay, exactly the guardrails concept. That
if you do, then...
If you do, make sure you're doing at least this much. Which is, I think, absolutely fair, that this is where we need to be headed from now.
This has been, as always, inspiring and enlightening. Just before we stop with a big thank you, is there any final last words you'd like to have for our listeners here today?
Covered most of it already, but I think what they really need to do is go back to the drawing board and start looking at the operations, do a proper gap analysis, and make sure they cover it. Maybe they are covering some of it already. I hope they're covering most of it already, but I think it is important for them to have done this. more than anything else, the way a regulator approaches these things is that even if they tomorrow see that you've not done something, as long as you're able to show the intent that you tried fixing it, the law changed.
You're on your way.
You did the gap analysis and you're now trying to fix it. I think you're fine, or you're at least somewhere in the process. So I think they need to start. If they haven't started, now is the time.
So and this is an honest question, because I don't know. So bear with me. And it's not a serve for you to do a sales pitch, but doing this gap analysis, who would? Is it law firms, or is it consultants, or is it a mix?
It's a mix.
You can't ask them to do it themselves, right? I would assume, or maybe you can.
Yes,
compliance can do it. Or?
Yeah, I mean, it can be a mix. It can be a mixed bag. So it can be a consultant from outside. We can help with some parts of it.
Yeah.
Again, we wouldn't be able to do an audit on the operations necessarily.
No.
If we do it, we'll do it only from a legal perspective.
Yeah.
Right. So you probably need a mixed bag of different people who can come in and do this exercise for you, which will not be very difficult to find. And I think the people at these insurance companies, they are very aware of all of this. And I think
I hope so.
I know. From a business perspective, they know what they're doing. So that's not to be doubted. I think it again comes down to the intent.
Yeah.
So that needs to change.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.